couple of, just really briefly, give us a couple of reasons why.
Well, what we've done today is to build a trust network with the food producers of New Brunswick. And now we're struggling to build the infrastructure to make it easy to access the distribution, the storage, the contract cropping, the plant production. This is all complicated, it's time intensive. We're still pretty much getting enough consumer demand and sales to pay for that. Once we have that set, once we have, we not only have the trust of the producers, we have the distribution worked out, we have agreements, strategic partnerships, we've worked out the systems for planned production to scale. Because that's what we need, is a system to grow more rapidly. What I've created, or what me and my family have created in Fredericton, I could open a store in 2 months in any other city in New Brunswick. And I could open a store in 6 months in any city in Nova Scotia or PEI, given that capital wasn't an issue. It's not, we have a lot of people who come to us that ask to franchise and ask to open a Real Food Connections in their city. We have people from Belgium, we have people from Ontario, people from BC, PEI, Nova Scotia, and other cities in New Brunswick. And the problem is that this is not, it's all based, as it should be, not on a strict business plan. It's based on personalities and personal connection and accountability. And so the way I value my business and why our business is really holding together is because I have 140 personal handshakes that I've met all the farms, and it took us 2 years to build the trust network that we have. It's not to say, like right now, so I have that and I can move that anywhere in New Brunswick. I've started already building that in PEI, Nova Scotia, so it wouldn't take as long. If I went to BC, I'd be 2 years building a network there, the same strength that I have now. But I know today, this is scary because right now, the busier we become, the more my cash flow and investment it takes. Like, there's businesses who fail for growing too quickly, but I know today that if I knew where I needed it, so next January, I can go to the network of suppliers we have, and I can pretty much ask anything of them if I give them a legitimate guarantee that I'll buy those products. So I can grow, I'm doubling almost every 6 months over 3 years. And we sold 30,000 the first year, 115,000 the second year, and we just finished this past year with over $630,000 in food sales. And we're probably going to double that for this coming year. Now, I don't actually have any money this year. There's a lot of issues, but anyway. But it becomes easier, and we're only a small business, and it's all based on personalities, and so we need to grow slow, we need to grow incrementally, but I can grow in steps. So now I'm prepared to sell $1 million worth of local food in this coming 12 months. If I have reason to believe, if I have contracts from schools for X amount, I can go to the farms and I can put plant production and crop guarantees down and quintuple that in 1 year. If I know in January, or I have the capital and the realistic security that I can tell farmers, handshake or legal agreement, most of them just want a handshake, but my name would be mud if I couldn't follow through, that I need them to quintuple production. And if, not every supplier can, some can do more. Some new producers are looking to start, and they don't want to grow the full purpose farm to go to a farmer's market. They just want to grow 1 or 2 things. And yeah, it's building the network and building everything. It's draining and tiring, and my wife's not here, so I'm allowed to tell her that we can stay in, but my mother is, though. Unfortunately, she's taping it. Realistically, if capital was no object, what we've built today, we could open in any city within months, and we could open in any place in Atlantic Canada within half a year to a year at the outset, because the difficult part was building the network, building the distribution, the storage, the trust, the agreements, the pricing strategies, the plant production, but it all came down to trust. That's why it's all about the handshake, it's all about the personalities. So it is a good atmosphere. We have such a tight bond with the customers that I'm confident that they're not going to drop me. That's how local grocery died. Well, it's not dead, but it came close, is because producers were producing for grocery stores, and grocery stores dropped them with no notice. And so I'm acting acting as a connection between the end consumer and the producer. I'm not acting as a wholesaler distributor. I'm not setting prices. I'm not setting that this is the way. I'm not buying and selling as much as I am being the liaison and the connection between the. I'm keeping that dialogue, the storytelling from farmer to customer, and the comments back from to farmer completely open. And that's an important part of why we can grow while staying a little bit more authentic and not crossing these barriers.